where we left off. So, any more thoughts on Wicked and Bloodborne? Everybody got the summary of it in there.
Ribbit.
Jacob, your mic's on.
Anyway, does everybody have Wicked and Filburn down? Or should we go on? Do we need more on? Okay. So
for the cases, they're all really short, so it's not going to take a whole lot of time if you go in and read it and then just write like 5 to 6 sentences on it. It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's true. The readings are pretty short for that. We've got another 40 minutes. We can summarize them now. If you don't get it all from our summaries, go back and read those if you didn't read them already, or watch the recordings from class. Your class has probably covered those. Are we good on the Wicked and Filburn summary, or do we want to go over that again? Okay, Katie, are you here? Do you want to do it again, or should I do it?
I can do it if you want me to.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so what it was, if you want like a short summary of it, is Congress put restrictions on the amount of wheat that could be grown on property. And if you grew too much wheat, you would get fined. And the case was that a farmer grew too much wheat, and he argued that he shouldn't have to be fined because he wasn't engaging in commerce between states. Like, it was just for him on his property.
We good? Bye, Liz. Everyone wave. We nailed it, guys. Okay, so I think we'll go with that definition for now. We'll move on. If we want to come back to it after we finish up, we can. Does someone want to take the Heart of Atlanta Motel summary? Please. Hey, Harrison.
Hi.
Okay. Nobody for Heart of Atlanta? Nobody?
Is that the one where it's the motel that they refuse service to people because of their race?
Yes, it is that one. Do you know enough to summarize it?
Nope, that's pretty much it.
Okay. I can do it since you did the last one, Katie, or if you want to do it, feel free. Okay, so this one I have kind of a long, maybe I'll just read the summary I have where I can try and remember. Basically, so a little background, this is in the South, it was after the Civil Rights Movement, so technically there shouldn't be racial discrimination anymore, but there still kind of was down in the South. And so the Heart of Atlanta Motel was this motel in Georgia, which is in the South, and the owner refused to rent rooms to blacks, and he filed suit in federal court arguing that the Civil Rights Act exceeded the power given in the Commerce Clause, which is what it was founded on. So the Civil Rights Act, this part of it was founded on the Commerce Clause, which he got in trouble for not renting rooms to blacks because of this section of the Civil Rights Act, which is founded on the Commerce Clause, if that makes sense. So, and he argued that it didn't fall under the Commerce Clause, even though that's what it was based off of, because it wasn't like commerce across state lines, it was a motel. And the United States countered. Their argument was that accommodation for anyone affects interstate travel. And so if he's not renting rooms to blacks, that affects black people's ability to travel across state lines, and that affects commerce. So that was how they argued that it does fall under the Commerce Clause. I think that's basically it. Maybe there's a couple arguments that were in there, but I don't know. Do you guys have any questions on that? Did that make sense? Anyone have anything to expound upon? May, go ahead.
I actually have a question. So what did you say about the whole like commerce and like across the state border thing? I didn't really get that part.
Like their argument in this, like why it did fall under the Commerce Clause?
Yeah.
So the United States, or that's the side of the argument that it's called, they argued that because renting, being able to get accommodations affects travel, that it, what am I saying? I just totally forgot. Okay, it affects travel, and so if they're not renting rooms to black people can't travel there as easily, and the traveling across state lines affects commerce across state lines, whatever, and so that makes it fall under the Commerce Clause. And we have the nifty slides. So the next one, are we good on that one? Good enough for now? You can go and read the thing or whatever, like we said, if you want. So U.S. versus Lopez. Anyone have that? Want to cover that? Por favor. Okay. Well, then I guess I'll go into that. This one, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the link did not work. So I just went to the Wikipedia. I just looked this up on Wikipedia. Basically, this 12th grader, Alfonso Lopez, carried a handgun into his school, which was under the... You know what? Someone's at my door. Does someone else want to cover this for a second?
Okay. I kind of remember this from class, so I'll kind of explain. So the kid, once she said I remembered, but the kid, he brought a gun to school, and everybody now has someone at their door, so everybody's like leaving. I know, it's crazy. It's like perfectly planned, so he brings a gun to school, and I think he wanted to sell it, like Christian said, and I don't know if it had like come from somewhere else or anything, and they got mad at him saying, oh, you can't bring guns to school, but you also can't sell them because that's under the Commerce Clause for some reason. And so the Congress told him, oh, you can't do that. So he kind of fights back saying, this doesn't fit under the Commerce Clause. I don't remember how or what his reasons were, but he claimed that it wasn't maybe because like he bought the gun somewhere in the state or something, or he was selling it in the state. I don't remember exactly all the details, but yeah.
Perfect. I didn't catch all of that, but did you guys, May's laughing. I can't keep it. Okay. Anyway, did you guys good on that one? We got the summary there? my comment in the chat. I didn't know I was so funny, but okay. Okay, 12th grade, someone carried a gun to school. He wanted to sell it. He was shoot out for trying to sell it because it was against the Commerce Clause. Claimed it wasn't commerce because of where he had bought the gun. So, let me find real quick what I wrote was his argument on. It was kind of strange argument, I feel like. I don't. One sec. He argued. If I can find it, I wrote a lot on this one. Well, he was arguing that the act, that it was the Gun-Free School Zones Act, was unconstitutional because it was under the Commerce Clause, and he was arguing that it didn't fit because it didn't fall under commerce. I really can't find it. Hold on. Yeah, and some of their arguments, the United States side, for the against him, some of their arguments was that why it related to commerce was that having a gun would most likely lead to violent crime, which would have two effects. One, to cause harm and so create expenses and raise insurance costs and stuff like that. And also it affects people's willingness to travel to the area, which affects commerce and travel and stuff like that. And also they argued that if students were scared and disturbed, it would inhibit learning and weaken the economy because they weren't learning and stuff. And so their arguments for why it was commerce were kind of roundabout and stuff. So in this one, the court decided against the United States. They went for Lopez because they kind of decided that with all those like roundabout arguments, it was kind of a slippery slope kind of situation, and it would leave the door open to the government justifying basically anything that could be related to violent crime or anything like that. There's a lot of things that they could put under the Commerce Clause. So yeah, they decided against that. If that makes any sense. Clear as mud? We good? Autumn, you're good? Anyone else? Okay, so now we'll go to print versus US. Anyone want to cover that one? Katie, go ahead.
Okay, so I don't have all of it. It's kind of blurry. But what I do have is that basically Congress wanted to require state law enforcement officers to conduct background checks on people who were going to buy a handgun. And I'm pretty sure that in this they decided not in favor of it. They said it was unconstitutional, but their argument was that people who were in favor of their argument was that it fell under the proper, and what was that last one we just did on the study guide? Let me find it. That it fell under the necessary and proper clause. So that was their argument, and they decided against it. Does anyone have any questions on that one that I didn't answer? I tried to study this one, and I couldn't find a lot of stuff on it. No? Y'all good?
Everyone have that in your study guides?
So the first part, May, what, Malik? What? Go ahead.
I kind of missed the whole thing.
Oh, okay. I can repeat it. So it was Congress well, hold on. Let me get to so I can read it instead of like rambling. Congress required state law enforcement, like police officers, to conduct background checks on people who wanted to buy handguns. So if you wanted to go in and buy a handgun before you could, the police officers would have a background check on you before you could buy that handgun. And they said that this was constitutional because it fell under the the necessary and proper clause. They decided, oh, sorry, Hannah. They decided that it was unconstitutional, I'm pretty sure. I could completely be interpreting that wrong, but I'm pretty sure they decided it was unconstitutional.
Yeah, I think so. Everyone have that one?
Why? Do we know why it was decided unconstitutional?
Because it wasn't constitutional, obviously.
I think I know why. I think it was because Congress technically can't rule state law enforcement because they're only in charge of the army. The state is in charge of their own necessary law enforcement, and if Congress tries to do that, that's technically unconstitutional. And so, in this story, they tried to make state law enforcement do the background checks, but only the state can make the state law enforcement do that.
Perfect. Everybody good? Everybody got this? Perfect. Okay. So that's the end of that study guide. Did everyone get the whole study guide done? We all good? Or we can go back and cover more stuff if you're done. That's all.
I missed two things. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I'll just ask Christian if he can help me out with them later. Okay, it's fine.
Well, I mean, we can. Everybody who's completely done with everything, doesn't need anything else, you can go ahead and leave. But if you have any other questions on any of the study guides,
I have a question that's not about the study guide, but it's complete. Sorry, I just didn't want anybody to leave before. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yeah,
so I have a question. Do we need to say that we collaborated in a big, huge freaking study group on Friday? Like, I don't think we need to necessarily know.
No.
Because I've been told that you kind of need to say you collaborated with anybody because, mind you, we did all do it together.
Okay, yeah, input. Okay, so, I think we should, cause you just don't get in there by yourself and talk to him about this. So it's just better to say that all these people were here. So, yeah.
Mind you,
it's
I'm not saying
better that way.
I'm not saying you need to list every single person, but I'm just saying you worked in the study group on Friday. Just put that point in there.
Katie, go ahead.
I think you guys can if you want to specify that just to be safe, but I don't think you have to for study guides just because it's not like a test or anything. It's just a study guide to help you prepare for a test. So it doesn't really matter if you have the same answers because it's not like a test on your knowledge. Like you can use any resources you want for it.
Yeah,
Well, I think,
Nate, go ahead.
But it does though because you just
Because it's part of it.
Because I have experienced this, and so you guys should just listen to me.
Alex, go ahead.
No, I'm okay.
Hey, shush, for 5 seconds, okay? There is an important distinction between the time you are referring to and right now. Okay, so basically we all have separate study guides right now, and we're all recording our own answers. It's not like, oh, here's the answer, copy, paste. What we did, when we collaborated on it, we used the same study guide to put in and talked about the answers. They didn't like that because we turned in the same thing. We're not turning in the same thing. We're turning in our own answers with our friends as a resource. So I don't think we need to say we collaborated. We can say we went to the study group, but I don't think we need to say, oh, I collaborated with this person and this person and this person and this person and this person. It's just not necessary, you know.
Yeah, I agree with what Malik is saying. The study guide is just to help us, remember all this stuff that we're learning and stuff. And so even though it is on your grade, it's just kind of to help you. And so the study group, it helps us to go over all the stuff that we've been learning and to put it in a way that you understand, make sure that you understand everything. So, it's because everyone's writing your own, we didn't, it wasn't like copy and paste. Everyone had to first understand it and then put it in. So it's kind of original thought ish, and this is just to help everyone understand. So if you want to say that we collaborated on a study group, go ahead, but I don't think it's necessary. The point of this is to learn, and so as long as you're learning and not just copying other people's answers without actually understanding what it's saying, as long as you're learning from this, then it's all good. So we've covered this whole study guide. If anyone has any other questions on previous study guides or questions they missed on this study guide, or even there's a few on the next study guide that we've gone over, if you have any questions on those, feel free to stick around and we can go over those. If not, go ahead and leave.
So I missed. You can leave. We don't need you here. Okay, I missed 2 at the very beginning for the section 9 part. I missed what are the qualifications of office for senators, and according to Article 1, who elects senators? I missed those 2.
Okay, so the qualifications for senators, it's the same 3 as with representatives. The numbers just change. So you have to be 30 years old. You have to have been a citizen for at least 9 years, and you have to be an inhabitant of the state that you were elected to represent. Clear as mud. And then I guess I'll wait for a second for you to get that one. Okay, and then the next one, what was it? According to Article 1, who elects senators? Okay, and so that one, according to Article 1, it's the legislature of the state, but then with the 27th Amendment, I believe it was, it changes so that it's the people of the state.
Oh, I think I did it wrong way. I think I switched around representatives and
on.
Because for the one right before it, it says for representatives it's the people, right? But that wasn't affected by the 17th Amendment, right?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, so I'll just switch them around. Gotcha. Okay, perfect.
Okay, Ruby. Rochelle.
Okay, so I missed the answer. Sorry about that. Well, I missed the meaning or the definition for what does among the states mean.
So that just means across state lines. So anything that happens, between 2 or more states that goes across state lines, that's among the states.
So it's like something that happens between multiple states?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So if it's just within one state, that doesn't count, but anything more than that.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Okay, anyone else? It doesn't have to be from this study guide, any study guide.
My whole study guide since I was like JK.
What is the color of your toothbrush?
Red and white.
Oh, okay, I didn't actually need to know. I was just mine's blue and white. So
Nice.
I don't know.
Mine lights up, guys.
Wow, Christian's
Oh,
just so
nice.
special. He's got one of those light up toothbrushes that keep time for him.
Yeah.
Because, it's kind of hard to multitask, try and keep track and brush your teeth, so it just lights up for him.
Exactly.
Dude, is it like those light up shoes? It's like the same thing, right? I want
It's like
a pair of
sketchy.
light up shoes so bad when I was a kid. Like, I don't know.
Okay, do we have more study guide questions? If not, I'm going to end the recording.
I actually do. I was
Okay.
wondering what the from class one was because I missed that.
So, from class, why did the founders establish the terms and qualifications for office for the House and Senate listed in Article 1? So there's kind of a couple reasons that we talked about when we went over that one. So for Malik, were you raising your hand?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna have some input.
Okay, go ahead.
It's the why did the founders establish that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I put down is basically it's so the House and the Senate don't allow unqualified people or even possibly disloyal people to people who might be disloyal to the state or country. So, because basically, yeah, exactly. ISIS was here for if they could just move into the country and then bam, they're a citizen. They've only been a citizen for 1 year, and it's just like, I'm going to infiltrate the Senate, and then they infiltrated the Senate, 5 million of their members in there, and so basically, it's to make sure that somebody who's either not qualified or possibly disloyal towards the country and the citizens, to not allow them to. Are you dying again? To not allow them to become senators or representatives.
Yeah, perfect. Any other questions before I end the recording? And you got that, Christian? Everything's good? Okay. Does everybody in here have this study guide done? Except Harrison, who came in late. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to end the recording, and then we can continue stuff if you want. Or